After a huge public outcry on the proposal to charge you higher electricity rates if you earn too much, California politicians and the liberal media this week are telling you that the proposal is dead. Coming up, I'll tell you why that's absolutely not true. And they are still hell-bent on charging you more for your electricity based on your household income. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and longtime listeners of this podcast know I have been railing against and fighting against this really absurd, crazy money-grabbing scheme that's been proposed in California to raise our electricity rates even higher than they already are. Now, let's just, put in the context. Californians pay double the cost for their electricity than the national average. Why? Because we are choking off the supply of electricity because of the Green New Deal. Greedy new steel is more like it. And there are billions of dollars of hidden state taxes and fees that have been added to your utility rates so that politicians can take your money and then distribute it to the favored classes based upon whatever scheme they've got this week or this month. So our utility rates are already the highest in the country. You're paying too much as it is. A year and a half ago, California politicians passed a dubious bill to instruct the California Public Utilities Commission to set up a new rate structure whereby you would be charged different rates for electricity based on your household income. That's right. If you earn too much, you'll be forced to pay higher electricity rates. And where does all that extra money go? Well, a big chunk of it goes in the hands of the politicians, but a substantial chunk of it also goes to redistribution of wealth. That's right. You pay more if you earn too much, and those that don't earn enough get subsidies from you. So you pay higher electricity rates so that they get to enjoy lower electricity rates. And again, I think everybody should have lower electricity rates. Repeal the California Green New Deal, get rid of those illegal state taxes and mandates, and we could cut everyone's bill down to the national average in a heartbeat. We could do it. They know we could do it, but they refuse to do it because they want your money. And of course, they're on this climate change crusade. So again, this is not about being against lower utility rates for those who are struggling. I want everyone to have a more affordable cost of living in California, and we can do that the right way, not by forcing others to shoulder more of the burden than they should and stealing their money. Now, you might ask, how are they going to find out about how much your household earns? Well, very simple. The politicians in their legislation envisioned that the state franchise tax board, which takes your state income tax, you file your federal income tax with the IRS, the state income tax goes through the state of California government, that would just simply be handed over without your permission to your local utility company. How nice. Complete invasion of privacy. And so this proposal on so many levels is absolutely absurd and crazy. And the public, as they found out more about it, and at Reform California, we've been really beating the drum on this crazy proposal for the last 18 months since it was enacted or proposed. The public started putting pressure on members of the state legislature, and people were feeling the heat. In fact, just 2 months ago, a group of Democrats in swing seats finally started hearing the footsteps behind them. They were worried that maybe I could lose my seat over this. You're damn right you could lose your seat over this as soon as the voters know about it, but they're kept ignorant by the liberal media. These Democrats broke ranks with the rest of the Democrats and said, we need to scrap this idea entirely. Okay, so that is basically where we are. This week, you're going to be hearing from the liberal media and many politicians, including Republicans, and I'm going to get to those dishonest Republicans in just a moment, showboaters. They're not really doing anything to actually help the situation. They're just trying to gaslight you, frankly, and take credit for something they haven't even done. They're telling you that the proposal is now dead, that you can rest easy, not worrying about your utility rates going up. Really? Yeah. Mm-hmm. and that the idea that we're going to charge you different rates based on your income. That's completely not going to happen. Well, the reality is it is happening. That's what they approved this week. So let me go to first the lies. And for that, I can go to Senator Brian Jones. Here's a press release that his office released that is completely dishonest. It came out of Brian Jones' office with a headline, CPUC, the California Public Utilities Commission, which is an unelected group of bureaucrats appointed by the politicians that actually set the utility rates. Okay, it's not the utility companies that set your rates. This is all done by government, and that's been the biggest, secret kept in California, is that you really shouldn't be blaming your utility company entirely for your rate going up. It's the politicians with all their mandates and secret fees and taxes, hidden fees and taxes. So here's a headline from a Republican. This is from a Republican office. A lie. This is a lie. What I'm about to read to you is a lie. Do not trust it. Brian Jones, Senator Brian Jones from San Diego, is a liar. He is lying through his teeth. He's either too dumb to understand or he's just being flat out dishonest. And I think it's probably a combination of both, since I know him personally. CPUC follows Senate Republicans' recommendation, scraps income-based utility bill scheme. Again, I saw the headline. I'm like, what crack are they on? They are woefully misinformed. First, CPUC isn't listening to any Republicans. If any Republican says, "Oh yeah, I wrote a letter to this government agency and they bowed to the pressure," are you joking? Senator Brian Jones didn't get the CPUC to do anything. If anything happens in California, it's because of you, the grassroots, lighting a fire and creating pressure on Democrats, not because Senator Brian Jones sent a letter. Seriously, dude, get over yourself. You're irrelevant. And rightfully so, deservedly so. And so the first line, I had to laugh. After immense pressure from the California Senate Republicans, immense pressure. I've seen more immense pressure from a bowel movement than from California Senate Republicans. Good God, they're irrelevant. Again, when people are doing self-congratulations for something they actually didn't do, in a moment, I'll show you how this actually didn't even happen. It's pathetic. It's humiliating. And both fit in this case with Brian Jones. Anyway, the CPUC has finally listened not to the people, but to the California Senate Republicans. All 8 of them, by the way. All 8 of them. They can fit into a phone booth. All 8 of them. There's only 8 out of 40. All 8 Senate Republicans. In scrapping the income-based utility scheme proposed by California's largest utilities. Wait. This was not proposed by the utility companies. It was mandated by Assembly Bill 205 in 2022. The politicians mandated the income-based utility rate scheme. I talked to these utility executives and they say, look, we are captive. We have to follow the mandates and the regulations and charge the fees and the taxes and not buy economically cost-effective, cost-efficient electricity. We have to buy the wind and solar expensive electricity. And they say, look, the commission tells us what we have to do, and we just pass it on to the customers. And in this case, Assembly Bill 205 was the originating document, the originating legislation for charging you higher utility rates if you earn, quote unquote, too much. That was not a utility company idea. That was the idea of the Green New Deal Democrats. But of course, California Senate Republicans lying to you, perpetuating the lie. Brian Jones, I'm cautiously optimistic to see the CPUC's preliminary decision. I'm cautiously optimistic. Is he still sitting at his Domino's pizza location flipping pizzas? I mean, this is insane. Why I'm so offended by this is that this guy should be screaming and yelling, saying this thing is still happening. He should be leading the charge, not lying to the public. Because when you tell the public, oh, the threat is gone, they all simmer down and don't worry anymore. And then they don't take out the pitchforks and the torches and throw politicians out of office. Maybe Brian Jones wants to protect some of his Democrat colleagues from that pressure. It's the only theory I've got at this point. So he's declaring a victory as though this thing is gone. On the same day that he's declaring victory, the Union Tribune in San Diego, his hometown paper, is reporting at least an element of the truth, although they're also trying to diminish the significance of the actual decision by CPUC. It says, is a $24 fixed monthly charge on SDG&E utility bills coming your way? The California Public Utility Commission proposes lower electricity rates, but customers would pay a flat monthly charge. Okay, what is this all about? It says that there's a 265-page proposed decision by Stephen Wang that would result in residential utility customers paying a flat charge of $24.15 on their bills while reducing their electricity rates by 5 to 7 cents. Okay, all right. Flat fee, little bit of savings over here. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Lower income customers would pay a lower amount. How is it that they can pay a lower amount for the same electricity? In other words, who's going to have to pay more to cover the subsidy for the break for lower income Californians? You see where we're going with this? Oh, I know. Poor Brian Jones is getting caught as either the most ignorant person you've seen this week, and there's a lot of folks that could compete with him on that up in Sacramento, or fundamentally dishonest. It says the decision is aimed at providing a 1-2 punch to help lower income customers who've been hit particularly hard by soaring utility bills across the state. Well, why do you solve higher utility rates for everyone for lower income people by just simply charging someone else a higher rate? Why don't we lower the cost of electricity statewide? Why don't we benchmark and be just as screwed up as the average state in the union when it comes to electricity costs? If you're just as screwed up as the average state of the union with, profit, seeking utility companies and, need to, have a clean environment. All those states have all those same pressures, but they're able to provide electricity at half the rate to their customers than in California. Surely we can do it if they can do it. So the first thing is that we're going to help lower income customers, not by lowering the cost of electricity, but by stealing money from someone else and giving it to lower income favored classes. But then it says, and by reducing electricity rates, encourage all utility customers, regardless of their income, to adopt electrification measures in their homes. Wait, we're encouraging people to use more electricity? What's the electric vehicle mandate all about? Getting out of your gas car and charging using electricity at home. What's the natural gas appliance ban all about? Getting rid of your gas-powered stove, your gas-powered furnace, your gas-powered water heater, your gas-powered fireplace, and going entirely electric. You know that we still barely keep the lights on in California as it is. You add all that extra demand, the cost will soar and reliability is out the window. So it goes on to say that the current flat fee is designed to be revenue neutral. Revenue neutral. Do you think government is ever, when they come up with a change in pricing, do you think they're ever going to abide by revenue neutral? These people are liars, cheats, and thieves. They will charge you more saying, oh, it's revenue neutral, but they always end up with more of our money in their pockets. Hold on. We're getting to the income tax disclosure. It goes on to say that one of the most thorny aspects of the law centers on income verification, because they note that 25% of SDG&E's residential customers are enrolled in this CARE program or FARA program, which means that they would be subject to the lower rate. They'd get subsidized electricity. AB 205 requires establishing at least 3 tiers of income levels, but who would collect the earnings data from each of the 11 million households served by investor-owned utilities in California? Goes on to say, some stakeholders suggested using a third party working with existing state agencies, including, right, ready for it? The Franchise Tax Board, in other words, the IRS for the state of California, to coordinate the data while at the same time addressing privacy concerns. Privacy concerns, you're giving my household income information to a private investor-owned utility. You're violating my privacy. I can't think of a single time in U.S. history when the federal government or any state government handed over your income to a private third-party shareholder-driven enterprise. So here we are. Instead of Brian Jones declaring victory, what the reality is CPUC has indeed implemented an income-based scheme for electricity. They're going to charge you this flat fee, and lower income people are going to get a break. In order for them to assess whether you have to pay the regular fee or get the break, they have to get your income tax data. So we indeed, under this proposal, have income-based electricity rates. Some people benefit, other people don't. That is the fundamental unfairness that we've been railing against on AB 205. Oh, but what does Brian Jones say? CPUC follows Senate Republicans' recommendation, scraps income-based utility-based scheme. Liar. Either you are dumb as dirt or you are a fundamental liar, and either of which makes you absolutely unqualified to be state Senate Republican leader, let alone just be a regular senator. But he's part of the scam because he wants you to think as though he's done something good when in fact he hasn't. Trying to take credit for something that actually did not even happen. Quite the contrary. We are seeing a situation where bad things are happening in the state of California on utility rates. I'll leave you with this. This is the camel's nose under the tent. Do you think they're just going to leave the flat fee at $24.15 per month? Remember, the original fee would start at $79 and go up to somewhere like $125. This is like a small little fee on your bill, and just a small percentage of people are getting 25%. That's actually more than a small percentage. It's 1 out of 4 are getting this break. We made it revenue neutral. Do you think that that's going to hold next year and the year after and the year after? No. What they're going to do now that they're going with income-based utility rates, which is the fundamental problem we've had here. You should not and cannot charge a different price for the same product or service for one person over the other based on income. That's socialism. It's a wealth redistribution. It's also known as a tax. When you charge a different rate and use the differential to transfer money from one ratepayer to another, that is what we call a tax. And by the way, it's also a tax because in that transaction, government always takes its cut. Now, this proposal has now been implemented. We now have income-based utility rates in the state of California for the first time ever. We are the first state to do this batshit crazy idea. And you might say, how do we fight back? First, kick people like Brian Jones in the ass. Tell them to shut up or lead. Stop lying. Second, on the November ballot is a ballot measure that will nullify the income-based utility rate scheme. It's called the Taxpayer Protection Initiative. And we are urging a yes vote at Reform California on that initiative. And we're running a campaign to get voters aware of it and to get them to vote yes as well. Check out our website, stopcaliforniataxhikes.com. That's stopcaliforniataxhikes.com, stopcaliforniataxhikes.com. It will tell you all you need to know about the California Taxpayer Protection Initiative. And right here, it has the utility rate information. Here we are. As well, politicians are trying to gut Prop 13, make it easier to raise taxes and increase your utility rates. There's a whole presentation on the utility rates and how the income-based scheme would be eliminated under the Taxpayer Protection Initiative. That video is on the bottom of that website. But please do chip in a contribution at reformcalifornia.org. We can't fight these battles alone. We can't bring you the truth alone. Brian Jones isn't going to bring you the truth. Politicians and the media aren't going to bring you the truth. You need to know the truth that this proposal is now enacted. It's not as scary as the original proposal that they released, but isn't that how the politicians always handle this whole socialism conversion? They scare you with a real big proposal, and then they say, oh, okay, we're going to drop the proposal. And they quietly get the first 2 or 3 steps implemented on their long-term journey towards their original batshit crazy proposal. That's how this works. And so I urge you to fight back with every fiber of your being. Help us lead that fight by chipping in a contribution. Share this video. Comment below. Are you okay with your utility company getting your income tax returns? Do you think that this is socialism? Do you think it's unjust? Is there a better way to lower utility rates across the board for everyone? We need to spread the word, educate voters, warn them, and then empower them on how they can make a difference. And one of the best ways to make a difference is to help us pass the California Taxpayer Protection Initiative in the November 2024 election. Until next time, this is Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.